So in the present study, the design of the study is a randomized controlled trial. This is a standard, highly regarded research design for studying the effect of an intervention. And we had participants who were not experienced meditators, but who were interested in getting training and practice in meditation. And our dependent variables, that is the outcomes that we were going to be examining, were EEG asymmetry. And we also were going to examine the results of self-report using a tool called the Positive Affect Negative Affect Schedule. This is a questionnaire that people can fill out quickly and easily, in which they indicate how much they are feeling a particular affect or emotional state. And so it asks them to rate, say, from 0 to 4, or 1 to 5. I forget the exact numerical scale. But in any case, it asks them to say how much they're feeling excited, how much they're feeling nervous, how much they're feeling joyful, those kind of things. And so what we wanted to see is, would meditation training produce differences relative to people who did not get meditation training on those things? So our main outcome was the EEG asymmetry, but we also had people, we also gave them the potential to self-report what they were feeling. On to slide 7. And here's a graphical representation of what the study protocol was. So starting from the left, we had eventually 21 people who completed every aspect of the study. We started off with a slightly smaller number than that, but not every participant was able to give us full EEG data, for example, either because they couldn't make one of the appointments, or in 1 or 2 cases a person had a hairstyle in which their hair was impenetrable to our EEG apparatus. These things occur. But in any case, we had 21 people for whom we got full data. And at the beginning of the study, all of them came to our lab and individually underwent an 18-minute protocol during which they attempted to meditate according to some very basic instructions we gave them that were a type of focused attention meditation. Jane, do you want to say what that description was?
Yes, for that part of the study, I used the instructions that were pioneered by John Kabat-Zinn. And he uses this for his mindfulness meditation instruction. And it's very simply to focus the attention on the sensation of the breath at the tip of the nose. And then we instructed the participants that when they noticed other thoughts arising, to just non-critically bring their attention back to the sensation of their breath. So it's something that's very easy for people to understand and to do.
Once these participants had done that, but not before, we then randomly assigned them to be in one of 2 conditions. They could either get assigned to be in the meditation training group, in which they would now be given free meditation training and encouragement to practice meditation, or they could be assigned to a waitlist group. And this means that eventually we'll offer them the training, but for the time being, to participate in the study, they have to wait for it. So in essence, they're not doing anything different than they would have done otherwise. So they're not getting meditation training during the period of the study. Now, once the study is over, so that we're being fair to everyone, they later get offered the exact same training. But for the time being, they are waiting for it. And then after the meditation training period, which was 5 weeks, during which we offered 9 30-minute training sessions, we had everybody come back and do the same exact 18-minute protocol that they did at the beginning of the study. And what this research design allows us to see is, will there be a difference between the groups based on the fact that one group got meditation training and the other group did not? I may have misspoke, based on the fact that one group got meditation training and the other group did not. That's the only difference between the groups, and that is the key feature of a randomized controlled trial.
The protocol for the 9 meditation training sessions was that we would begin by discussing meditation briefly for about 10 minutes, and then the students would have a chance to practice meditation. We began with short periods of meditation, 10 minutes or so, and then gradually worked up to about 20 minutes of meditation, after which they were encouraged to discuss their experiences or bring up any questions that they had about their practice. So out of the 30-minute sessions, they got about 20 minutes of practice in each session.
And then in addition to that, we encouraged them to practice on their own as much as they were willing to do. And of course, we hoped that they would come to all 9 of these sessions that we offered them and that they would practice as much as possible. But we allowed them to attend as much as possible. So they were able to, and in fact did, miss some sessions, or they practiced a little less than maybe we would have liked. So this had a very real world feel to it in that regard, and we'll give you the data on that in a moment. On to the next slide, slide number 8. And here is that data. So at the end of the study, we had attendance data for the classes that we offered, and we also surveyed the people in the meditation group to tell us how much they'd practiced. So these 11 persons in the meditation group attended a little less than 7 sessions of the 9 on average, and as a range, they ranged between 4 and 8. So we had one person who only attended 4 of the 9, and we had another person or persons who attended up to 8 of them. And these persons reported that they did their own independent meditation practice, that is outside of the class, on their own, an average of a little more than 2 times per week in 15-minute intervals. These ranged, they reported ranging from as little as 1 time a week to as much as 5 times a week. So a pretty small amount of training and practice, certainly small compared to what had been researched previously. Next slide, number 9. Now, if you add this together, we're looking at an average of 6 hours and 13 minutes of training. And this ranged from a little more than 3 hours at the low end to a little more than 9 hours at the high end. And if you average that across the 5-week training period, we're looking at a range of 5 to 16 minutes of active training, that is instruction and independent practice added together for each individual daily. So minutes a day, not hours a day, we're talking about here. In addition to the fact that depending on the person's practice schedule, there may have been and likely were days they just didn't practice. Next slide, number